Hey guys, now to finish up our marketing, the last sheet we're going to deal with is channel sales. So in this, there's one block of assumptions that you need to deal with in order to be able to do both CPA and CPL deals with channel partners. So at the top, as usual, we have a summary with the key outputs that we're going to get. These are the number of trials that come from CPA and CPL and the total, the cost from your CPA and CPL channels, and then the number of staff and the associated cost of those staff to support those channels. Now let's break into the assumptions here. So as I said, there's two ways of calculating trials that can come through your channel partners. One is your CPA, the other one is your CPL. So you can type in the name of your channels here, Facebook, Twitter, Google, whoever it is, right? Presumably probably smaller people than that. Then the starting number of leads per month that you get. Now below, there's a way of increasing that over time as usual, but just type in the starting number of leads per month here. Now next is a drop-down menu, which basically tells the model, is it CPA or is it CPA deal? Just drop-down menu for each one of these, and so we know what to do. Now, we pay a fee to your channel partners on either CPL or CPA. So CPL works on basically every lead that they send you, they charge you money for it. And a CPA works differently. They send you a lead, but they only make money if it actually converts into a paying customer. So for here, you type in what the CPL number is. For the CPA, which is typically higher, you type in the CPA number. But we also need to know how many of your CPA guys are going to convert to a trial, which is an assumption we would normally have in the marketing sheet for all the other channels, but this is a little bit different. And because it's on an acquisition as all the way to paid, we need to know who is actually going to convert from not only the trial, but also the paid bit, which we've got here, which is synced up to the actual revenue forecast sheet. This is synced to both your annual and your monthly revenue calculation sheets. So let's deal with how your leads will increase over time. So we start out the leads per month at 2, and then we'll open up the increase in leads per month, which is growing at 10%, which as usual, you can change these assumptions over time to 20%, whatever, how you ever like to do it. Now, we then use that to come up with the schedule for the actual number of leads which are going to come per month, which is just timesing this by your growth. And this tells you the total number of leads that will come from all your channel partners. Now, to deal with our CPL first, let's see how many trials are we getting. Because the drop-down menu is set to yes for the first one and a series of the other ones, we'll see that they're in red here. So we apply the number of leads that are coming through. Is it a CPL or CPA or not? Fantastic. And now we know the number of trials. Now, how do we calculate the costs? You can hide this now. We take your cost, which comes up from here, and times it by the number of leads that you get. And that's the calculations for your CPL costs. Done. Now, the same sort of logic applies to the CPA, but there's an additional step. So we figure out the number of trials that you get for your CPA, and then we apply a conversion on that from your trial to paid, which takes the number of trials and times them by the annual and the monthly amounts. And that'll tell you the number of paid customers that you have. And then what we do with the CPA is we'll take the actual cost that we've been charging, fee, times it by the number of actual paid customers you get, and that tells you the total CPA amount. So you just add those up, and that goes into the total cost for your CPA CPLs. Now, we assume that we're actually going to be servicing these leads that we're getting through our channel partners, so you have to pay for people to deal with those. It's a little bit more of hand-holding onboarding process, right? So, like the way we've been doing it for the customer care related stuff, we assume how much they can handle to kind of dictate how many people you need. So we'll assume that they can deal with 110 leads a month, which is say 5 a day for 22 working days. Figure out whatever works for you. And so you figure out how many leads you're getting per month through the calculations we just did. You divide that by the number they can handle and round it up, and that'll tell you that we need 1 person, which over time will increase to 3 to maximum of 7 people over time. Now, once we know that we have 1 person, we take their salary times that by, and we know how much the salary costs are for them, which goes up to almost $400,000 a year. And dividing the two, we can tell what the average cost per lead for our salary costs are, which starts higher and then goes down over time. These all feed up the top, and then you have your summary, but we can see some pretty charts on how many trials we're getting from either CPL or CPA and what the costs are these are. These all then will feed into your staff costs with the number of staff that are going to feed into that sheet, are the number of trials we're feeding into the marketing sheet, as well as your annual and your monthly revenue forecast calculations, and all the other sort of related charts and KPI sheets that we'll have. So that is the intro to how you do the channel sales sheet. Just a couple of assumptions you need to put in, grow the leads a bit, the costs for your staff, and you're kind of done. So it's relatively simple, nice structured way of doing it. There's some more complicated things you can do around trail fees, but in a SaaS model with multiple complications, with renewal periods, etc., it's almost impossible to come up with this simply. So my recommendation is just to jack up your fee for a CPA if you want to kind of compensate for it. If this is fundamentally your business model, then I advise making a more developed model, but that's not totally in the scope of what we've done at all. All right, best of luck, guys.